here is, so these are the members of the singers and the cast. We're going to present a little opera. And the opera is, well, it's called Donahue and Stevenson, the Opera. Okay? And this is, there are 4 songs in it. And I'll explain at the beginning of each song what's happening. But first of all, I should introduce the players. Well, first it is Charity, who's Mrs. Donahue. And then there's Jade, who is Mrs. Donahue's friend. If you remember, she went to Well Meadow Cafe with a friend. Stephanie, we've changed sex here. Mr. Mincello was the owner of the cafe, but now we have a Ms. Mincello, so that's Stephanie. Then we have Matthew and Ben, who are counsel for Mrs. Donahue and for Stevenson. And we have Michael here, who's one of the judges. I think Michael is, Lord Macmillan would say. Okay, so that's the cast. Now, so we start with the scene in Well Meadow Cafe. Okay, so this will be presented by Charity, by Jade, and by Stephanie.
Hello, Mrs. Donahue, sweet Mrs. Donahue, delighted to meet you today. Let's go for a treat, let's drink and let's eat, let's go to Well Meadow Cafe.
Well, certainly, yes, my dear, that is a good idea. I'm hungry and thirsty, let's fly. And ice cream dessert, or a bun or a tart, and watch the world passing us by.
Good ladies, kind greeting, delight in your eating at Paisley's most fabled cafe. These pastries we're making, the cakes that we're baking, please choose from our finest array. We've treacle and toffee, we've tea and we've coffee, ice cream and some gingery beer. That sounds just so sappy, please hurry, be rapid in bringing 2 helpings just here.
A glassful to savor,
Lumps in my gingery beer. Oh, tell me just how you've gone all peculiar, you're looking decidedly queer.
my belly is aching, my insides are cranking, a pecan pulse still in my ale. I'm feeling all funny, my bowel's gone all runny. Please fetch me a pail.
Right, here's the scene in the Well Meadow Cafe. Okay, so that's the only scene which occurs at the site of the disaster concerned. So now we move on to the courtroom scene, and we start with friendly greetings between the judges, and the judges are me and Michael. So if you come on this side, and no, if you come on this side, Michael, and we'll have counsel on this side, which is counsel for Stevenson and Mrs. Donahue are Ben and Matthew. So we are greeting each other, okay, at the start of the hearing of Donahue and Stevenson. We are the judges of the court of law,
and judges of a very good sort.
You're very, very good, and be it understood, we're judges of a very good court.
We're very, very good, and be it understood, they're judges of a very good court.
Though we're intellectual, we can sing and dance as well, and caper a jig or 4. And we never know to cower at the words of any lawyer, and we're never, never wrong at law.
What's never?
No, never.
What's never?
Hardly ever. Never wrong at law.
Then give 3 cheers and 1 cheer more for the brainy judges of the court of law. Then give 3 cheers and 1 cheer more for the judges of the court of law.
We do our best to satisfy you, oh.
And with you really quite content.
You're exceedingly polite, and we think it only right to return the compliment.
We're exceedingly polite, and they think it's only right to return their compliment.
Bad language or abuse we never use, even faced with a cross QC. Don't bother it, we may occasionally say. We never use an F or B.
What, never?
No, never.
What, never?
Well, hardly ever.
Hardly ever swear an F or B. Then give 3 cheers and 1 cheer more for the well-bred judges of the court of law. And give 3 cheers and 1 cheer more for the judges of the court of law.
Right. So we now get on to, we've slightly changed the historical inaccuracy. Mrs. Donahue is actually going to explain her sad tale to the members of the House of Lords, and then we're going to hear submissions from counsel. First of all, counsel for Stevenson as to why they shouldn't be liable, and then we'll hear the submissions from counsel for Mrs. Donahue.
One day in the summer, a marvellous treat.
Lord Akin, Lord Akin, Lord Akin.
In Well Meadow Cafe, my friend there to meet.
Lord Akin, Lord Akin, Lord Akin.
And order was made for their best ginger ale, but added unknown was a well-brewed of Snell. I swallowed it down, but then let out a well.
Lord Akin, Lord Akin, Lord Akin.
I clutched at my belly and fell to the floor.
Lord Akin, Lord Akin, Lord Akin.
I sicked and I sicked and I sicked up some more.
Lord Akin, Lord Akin, Lord Akin.
I gasped and I screamed and I sobbed and I sighed. I howled and I yelled and I moaned and I cried. An overcooked gastropod in my inside.
Lord Akin, Lord Akin, Lord Akin. The claimant she's faking, no Snell in the beer. Lord Akin, Lord Akin, Lord Akin. The fizz in her glass was transparently clear. Lord Akin, Lord Akin, Lord Akin. This court we submit should reject what she said. A decomposed Snell, only there in her head. A flea in her ears, what she merits instead. Lord Akin, Lord Akin, Lord Akin. Now even accepting her story is true. Lord Akin, Lord Akin, Lord Akin. Snell merely added some strength to the brew. Lord Akin, Lord Akin, Lord Akin. For Stevenson here's a respectable gent, and by cooking up mollusks no harm could be meant. No contract, no payment, there's no precedent. Lord Akin, Lord Akin, Lord Akin.
Our plaintiff complains of a sorry affair.
Lord Akin, Lord Akin, Lord Akin.
It's evident as didn't take any care. Lord Akin, Lord Akin, Lord Akin. See counsel for S as he turns and he twists. There must be a contract to sue, he insists. But a claim lies in tort where no contract exists. Lord Akin, Lord Akin, Lord Akin. This newfangled action for damage we planned. Lord Akin, Lord Akin, Lord Akin. Your lordship's invited to take a fresh stand. Lord Akin, Lord Akin, Lord Akin. A calamity suffered, we've come to this court. The maker he did it and pay up he ought. For snails in the beer is an actionable tort. Lord Akin, Lord Akin, Lord Akin.
Okay, so now we come to the judgment. Okay, and the judgment now, I said Michael is Lord Macmillan and Stephanie Lord Fankerton, decided Lord Fankerton, and I'll be Lord Atkin. So we are now going to, the court is now going to present its judgment.
We're a court of law when we feel quite free to judge this case a great catastrophe. May Donahue has had her fill of snakes that make her very sadly ill, of snails that make her very sadly ill. There should, we do think, most fairly be a rule of liability. There should, we do think, most fairly be a rule of liability.
We hold the manufacturer must pay for snails mixed in the beer. He must endeavor to ensure that slugs don't make his drinks impure.
That slugs don't make his drinks impure.
He must surely act more carefully and pay for doing wrong to poor these Mrs. D.
He must surely act more carefully and pay for doing wrong to poor these Mrs. D.
So the maker of the ginger ale is blameful for this sorry tale. His noxious drink, his juice, his brew, malodorously poisoned Mrs. Donahue.
Malodorously poisoned Mrs. Donahue.
He foots the bill and pays the fee and compensates for failing to be neighbourly.
He foots the bill and pays the fee and compensates for failing to be neighbourly.
Yes, let the snail crawl in the beer, so for him we say the buck stops here. His fault is clear, he gets the blame, and Mrs. Donahue finds cash and fame. And Mrs. Donahue finds cash and fame. She takes her place in history and stakes her claim to immortality. She takes her place in history and stakes her claim to immortality.